welcome back to Maniacal Reader. Today I'm going to be doing my September T.B.R. The first book I want to read this month is Tempest by Julie Cross. This is the first book in a YA sci-fi trilogy. This book follows a guy named Jackson Meyer. Jackson Meyer is a 19-year-old guy in college with a girlfriend named Holly. But Jackson is a time traveler. When Jackson travels through time, though, nothing changes in the present. So his traveling through time has always been harmless fun. His life seems to be going okay, but that all changes when three guys barge into his dorm room and shoot Holly, fatally dead. When this happens, Jackson freezes and he leaves. And this time jump is different. This time he's stuck 2 years in the past, in 2007, and he has to figure out why these guys wanted to shoot Holly and how he can get back to his present time. He also has enemies of time after him, and he wants to find out why these guys are after him as well. I've actually already read this trilogy by the time I'm filming this, and I really liked this trilogy. It was action-packed, and the plot was complex and layered. But this book had a heavy dose of romance as well, so it really had a mix of everything. I really liked this first book, but you'll hear more of my thoughts on it in my August wrap-up. I naturally picked up the sequel, Vortex. The next book I want to read, or have read, is Time Storm. This is the third and final book in the trilogy. The next book I wanted to get to is a book called 1239 by Gretchen McNeil. This is another YA sci-fi book, but it's a standalone. And I checked it out from my library, but it's not available yet. This book follows a girl named Josie, I think her name is. Josie's life isn't going really well. Her parents are divorcing, and her boyfriend, Nick, wants to break up with her. So when she's betrayed by two of the people she loves most, she thinks things can't get worse. But then she starts having these strange dreams about this girl who calls herself Jo. She knows that they're just dreams, but they feel so real. When she awakes one night, she sees her reflection in the mirror, but who she sees is Jo. She comes to realize that her and Jo are doppelgangers, and that Jo lives in a parallel universe. In the other universe, Jo is popular, her parents are happily married, and her boyfriend, Nick, adores her. Josie comes up with the idea that she wants to trade places with Jo for a day. But when she steps into this parallel world, she realizes that things aren't what they seem. One of her parents are missing, and Nick isn't really her boyfriend. But Jo has sealed the portal, so the main character is stuck in this parallel world, and she's not really sure how to get back to her own world. This book sounds like a really intriguing sci-fi book. Since I'm into sci-fi lately, I wanted to pick this book up from the library. Hopefully I like it. Since I'm waiting on that book from the library, I decided to pick up When I Break by Kindle Ryan. This is the first book in a new adult romance trilogy, and it follows this guy named Knox. Knox has an emptiness in his life, and he fills that emptiness with unfamiliar women in unfamiliar beds. He is the guardian of his three brothers, but he knows that he needs a change in his life. His counselor encourages him to attend a Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting. For this meeting, he meets the counselor leader named McKenna. He knows that he shouldn't have a relationship with her since it's wrong to have a relationship with your counselor. But he finds himself growing more attracted to McKenna. McKenna is trying to pick up the pieces of her life in order to deal with an event that happened in her past. She and Knox have more in common than they realize. Besides those books, I don't really have a planned T.B.R. in mind, so I'm just going to go with whatever I'm in the mood for to read this month. But I do have some books that are in the back of my mind that I may get to this month. The first book I want to mention is Breathe by Sarah Crossan. This was one of the books in my summer T.B.R. video. This is the first book in a YA post-apocalyptic duology, and Breathe is the first book. In this society, most of humanity has been decimated, and in this society, people have to pay to breathe. The survivors live under this dome of manufactured air. We follow a few characters. The first is Alina. she's a revolutionary, and she's part of the resistance. The resistance is a group of people who believe that they can save the environment. Then we have Quinn, who's a premium, who's never had to worry about having enough air. Then there's Quinn's best friend B, who has always had to worry about having enough air. When these three characters cross paths in the Outlands, everything that they think they know about their world will be shattered. The premise of this book definitely sounds unique and interesting, and since I've been into YA sci-fi and post-apocalyptic and dystopian lately, I've been wanting to get to this book. I also picked up Resist, which is the sequel to Breathe. The reason I picked up the second book from the library is because I'm not sure if I'm going to like this duology enough to want to reread it and own it in the future. The next book I wanted to mention is Partials by Dan Wells. This is the first book in another YA post-apocalyptic trilogy. It follows this girl named Kira, and in Kira's society, most of the human population has been decimated by a virus, and in this society, humans have to deal with partials, engineered organic beings that are identical to humans. So I think humans have to fight against partials or have to band with partials in order to save the world. And this book is all about questioning what is right and what is wrong in a society like this. This trilogy reminds me of the Fifth Wave trilogy by Rick Yancey, because I think partials are aliens that are similar to humans but not quite. And the last book I wanted to mention is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is the first book in a YA contemporary trilogy, and it's a trilogy that everyone on BookTube has been talking about lately. This was also one of the books on my summer T.B.R. So maybe I'll get to this book this month, maybe I won't. We'll have to see. I probably won't get to all of those books this month, but I wanted to have somewhat of a T.B.R. in mind just so I can pick and choose the books that I'm in the mood to read. Comment down below and tell me what books you want to read this month. I'd love to know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.